Just when you think we can't get any stupider, we do something like this and totally redeem ourselves. Welcome into the Bro 4 Squad podcast. Thank you guys so much for joining us. This is episode 22. Wow, I cannot believe that the internet is still a thing since we started this. I'm your host, Jeff Hornacek. If you've not checked us out before, we are a couple bros talking superheroes, movies, and superhero movies. So, let's go meet the people joining me today. As always, in his lab, the mad scientist, Brian Banner. Brian, hello, how are you? You look well.
Hello, governor.
Why always with that voice? It's not going to fool me once into thinking, oh, that's his accent. That's how he actually talks.
No, this is my voice.
All right, that's your warning. It needs to end now. And also joining us, our legal counsel. You've heard him on all of our Star Wars movie commentaries. The legendary Ronnie Cycli. Ronnie, thanks for jumping on an episode with us.
Please, if you're listening to this, I have been forced and dragged. I don't know who these people are. I don't know where I am.
Please, kids, he's into role-playing these days, guys. It's just, I don't know, I can't.
No,
really.
Please, don't believe him.
He keeps telling me to tie this thing around his wrist. It's really weird.
Anyways, classic Ronnie.
Choke him? I don't understand.
Classic.
And
guys,
that's the last we ever heard of Ronnie.
Guys, as you must know, the most important thing to any bro, ever, always, every single moment of his life is chest day. That's it. It's the most important thing. So that's how we like to start every episode off. And today's chest day is focused around this past week. The first trailer for the highly anticipated MCU installment Black Panther dropped and set the internet ablaze. Continuing a trend of awesome superhero trailers this year like Justice League and Thor Ragnarok. I think Wonder Woman's was pretty sick also. We got our first look at the secret country of Wakanda, home of T'Challa, and got a glimpse of several key members in the star-studded cast of the Ryan Coogler-directed film that graces theaters and expands the MCU next February. Now, one thing we always like to do is check out Twitter for some of the coolest comments and questions out there. This one comes to us from Dion Ringgold at Dion Ringgold. Love it. Name makes total sense. And he said, Thor Ragnarok is still the best trailer I've seen all year, but I'm glad to get the teaser for Black Panther. This could be epic. And yes, Dion, it's going to be epic, and we need more tweets from you because that makes total sense. So guys, as he said, it's been an epic year for trailers, both superhero movies and not superhero movies. So what are your thoughts, Banner, first off on the Black Panther solo movie trailer? And then what are trailers this year, either one or two that you liked and one that really sucked, if you have one in mind?
So, first, Black Panther, take my fucking money. I think this is the darkest movie out of the MCU, hands down, and probably for good reason. It looks so good. I was a little scared because of all the actors and actresses, just the star power that they got into this, that there wasn't going to be enough room to go around. Well, it looks like there's going to be enough to go around because they're awesome. I love how they did it with Claw doing the interview, and that he didn't have his bionic arm yet. Fantastic. They killed it, knocked it out of the park. As far as a movie that I thought the trailer looked really good is The Dark Tower.
The Stephen King one?
It's also got my boy in it.
Who's your boy? Because I don't think he knows you, whoever you're going to say.
No, he definitely knows me. It's my boy. Sir Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, definitely. It's not been knighted, but okay.
No, it's fine.
I don't think that means what you think it means. It's not just like a polite way to address.
No, we're just bros,
He's like, thank you, Your Highness. I really appreciate it. The honor.
I thought that one looked really, really good. As far as one that definitely has got me in as well as Baby Driver. That's a movie where What?
I said, oh yeah. The first two trailers I saw that I was like, I don't know, man. Then one of the third trailers I was like, okay, fine, I give up. I want to see you.
Yeah, at the beginning I was like, I don't really know what this is about, but this looks like a movie that's going to be terrible. And then by the end I was like, wow, I just watched the whole thing and I'm still interested. I want to go see it, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. One that I will not be seeing though is City of a Thousand Planets. That movie looks fucking horrendous.
Yep, pretty bad.
And they are shoving it down my throats every time I go to the movies, every time I watch anything on TV. I'm over it.
One thing I will say, the only movie that would be maybe more interesting to me than The Baby Driver is a movie about an actual baby driving a car.
Wait, is that not what this movie is? Is it too late to return my tickets?
That's probably spoilers. No, you know what? On the off chance it is about that, I would still go. Cycly, we've gloated about Black Panther a little bit. It's an awesome trailer. Any trailers so far this year that you were like, wow, that's fucking sick. Already take my money twice. And then any trailer where you were like, that was the longest 2 minutes of my entire existence.
Yeah, to be honest, I would say I'm a big sucker for horror movies. And I know it was highly anticipated this year with the new It coming out. And that trailer hit out of the park. I saw so many comments of people on my friend list and just saying they couldn't even make it through the trailer.
Wow.
They are already so creeped out by that idea.
I just shat my pants thinking about the trailer again.
And I don't know, I'm a sucker for not just horror movies, but I love when you got a group of kids. You know, those type of movies are always my favorite when you have a little group of kids who are on a little adventure.
Like a coming-of-age type story?
Yeah, coming of age. You know, you think about the Goonies or what's going on Netflix with, Stranger Things. But, you know, the trailer kind of showing that coming of age and then that epic reveal of the clown. I mean, that looks horrifying. So it's hard to do a good horror movie, in my opinion. But if you can do it, it's amazing.
The score in the It trailer especially was super creepy and helped really set the tone.
Oh, yeah. And then I think everyone would agree. I think not. What are you else going to expect from Christopher Nolan? Dunkirk also hits it out of the park.
Yeah, he has some of the best trailers out there consistently.
Yeah. I would just happily sit in a theater for 2 hours and watch different trailers of his movies.
Yeah, I guess it's weird when you make great fucking movies. The trailers are also good. That's
shocking, right?
Isn't that a weird correlation?
I still can't put the formula and the math together on that, but I mean, it's got to be physics or something.
We'll have to double check it. For me, yeah, Ragnarok and Black Panther both were awesome trailers. Two very different tonally. Ragnarok kind of had like that framing device of Thor, like, you're probably wondering how I ended up here. And Black Panther was basically like, hey, this is one of the best casts a Marvel movie's ever had and one of the coolest heroes we've ever had. Speaking of the cast, another thing that's just going to pump this up even more, Daniel Kaluuya, the guy who starred in Get Out, he's in this movie as well, who, at the time they cast him, I don't think Marvel realized what they were getting in terms of talent. I mean, they knew he was talented, but, like, that's a guy now everyone's going to be like, holy shit, I know you from Get Out. So that's great. Marvel movies the past few years, same with DC, the trailer game is on point. A super epic sleeper movie that I called in January on our year predictions for 2017.
That much? Jesus.
I'm wrong so often on this show that if I ever am right, you will never hear the end of it. Murder on the Orient Express. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet. Daisy Ridley, Johnny Depp, Kenneth Branagh. Incredible cast.
Looks so good.
It's going to be fucking awesome. So go check that out. It kind of has a Nolan-esque feel to it as well. And then a trailer that I really thought was pretty bad, and this is not a shocker because the movie sucked as well, was the Tom Cruise Mummy movie. The first trailer I was kind of in on where he died on the plane and woke up in the morgue. Everyone since then, I was like, dude, where's Brendan? I never thought I'd say this again in my life, but where's Brendan Fraser? I think the last person who said that was the IRS when they were auditing him or something.
Yeah, over under, we would want Brendan Fraser back. Totally take the under.
Yeah. Does that mean he's in it? I don't think you know what? Sure. Brendan Fraser, we know you're listening. Come back to us, please. After chest day, guys, we normally move on to our protein shake, like to mix it up, get those healing in. But we forgot to go to the grocery store this week, or our wife.
Forgot? No. Don't put this on me. Who forgot?
I reminded you on the. Remember? I told you that time to go.
This is not on me, folks.
I have to do everything. I'm like a single parent. I have to cook and clean. It's ridiculous.
You don't know how to either cook or clean, let's be honest.
I know. That's, I think, the crux of the problem. So, Brian, since we're skipping protein shake today, I actually have a question for you.
Okay.
Do you even lift, bruh? Do you
No.
even...
I'm just kidding, bro. Of course I live.
Oh, God. And that brings us to our third segment, and probably our favorite one of the show, Do You Even Lift, bruh? Where we interact with you fans out there on Twitter, finding some of the best questions we can. This first question comes to us from Ethan Canistra, and he says, at Film in the Can, by the way, which is another fucking awesome Twitter handle, is there a possibility of having too much Tony Stark in Spider-Man Homecoming? And I'm glad we found this one, Ethan, because this has been a debate on the internet that, what's the body count right now in fanboys, Brian? How many casualties have we had over this debate since the promotional material for Homecoming is amped up?
I mean, at least 7.
So, yeah, 7, which is 7 too many. So, Banner, we'll start with you. Too much Iron Man in Spider-Man Homecoming, do you think?
So I'm gonna say a more hardcore fan. Of course, there's gonna be too much Tony Stark in Spider-Man. Now, it's not a Spider-Man origin story, but it's also not Spider-Man in his older years either, where we get the crossovers more with Tony Stark and Iron Man. So 100% we're going to have too much of him for this particular story. I think the first act is going to be almost 100% Tony Stark, and I think we're going to get him in the last 30 minutes of the movie somewhere, where the middle of the movie, second act, third act are going to be dedicated to Spider-Man. But of course, I think we're going to get too much Tony Stark.
I think you're right about that, where he shows up. Cycly, we'll go to you. Do you think that there is a thing as too much Tony Stark? Are you sick of seeing him on the posters? Like, oh, is this a Spider-Man movie? That's like the most common complaint I get from people.
So I'm probably going to come at you with a little different perspective here. I'm not as much as into the Marvel universe as you guys. So saying something like this might shock you. But as a casual viewer, we're asking ourselves, how many Spider-Man movies are we going to see every 10 years? How many different Spider-Mans are there going to be? Tony Stark is a consistent character throughout all these Marvel movies that people I talk to who don't watch the Marvel movies every day like you guys, they love his character. They think he's hilarious. They see him on the poster, they're going to bring him in. They're going to bring in people to pay cash, even though it's a third Spider-Man in 10 years that they've seen. So I'm not saying that it might not be too much, but Marvel knows that they're going to have to win back some casual viewers when it comes to Spider-Man.
Definitely. I'm with both you guys. So, Banner, I think you bring up a great point.
Cop-out.
Well, I mean, you're both right a little bit. I'm the rightist, but so I'm going to piecemeal these answers together. You're right. We don't want to see a rehash of the Uncle Ben death. Like Cycly was saying, we get it. He's died before. We've all seen it twice in our lifetime already. So Tony Stark has to serve as kind of that mentor figure. To Cycly's point, too, with all the people complaining, when all of a sudden did we stop liking Iron Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? I was kind of confused when that transition happened. So, I mean, I think that the Stark is going to feature heavily in the first act, and as long as it ends up being about Peter's coming of age and his story at the end of the day, I don't mind Tony Stark in a third or even half of this movie if it's done right. So, great question, Ethan. People have been tearing each other apart on the internet. I'm glad there's at least a few survivors who can debate it. Our next question comes from House Heisenberg at House Heisenberg. Again, makes total sense as far as a Twitter handle. And he says, what was one movie that you saw as a kid and loved, but then when you rewatched as an adult, you realized it sucks? Cycly, we'll go to you because I view you as kind of the resident expert on the 90s and all pop culture or movies and shows relating to it. We've gone back on this podcast alone. I would recommend checking out our D2 and D3 movie commentaries, as well as our Airbud and Blank Check ones, because this is a big hot button topic. A lot of these movies suck when you go revisit them. Same with Space Jam, which actually is probably the best one of all of them. Wow. Cycly, where's your head at here?
You just made me so angry. Because Space Jam holds up. Still
okay, Space Jam does not belong with those others. You're right.
Anyway, forgetting what you just said, this might be blasphemous. Again, we've done a lot of these commentaries where I feel they all kind of fit the definition of that question. But here's the line. I love bad movies that make you laugh, like Batman Forever. But there are some bad movies that are just plain terrible, like Batman and Robin. And Batman and Robin is just plain trash.
Yeah. We knew that was bad, though, back when we saw it the first
I don't know. I don't know.
No, dude, when I saw that as a kid, I thought it was good somehow.
I loved everything about it. And I loved that Arnold Schwarzenegger was in it. I thought every line was hilarious. I loved the nipples on the costumes, but I don't know. I remember loving that and then just realizing it maybe a few years later because, puberty wasn't too far off. And then another movie was the Mario Brothers movie.
Oh my God, that movie's so fucking bad.
Yeah.
God, I forgot about that movie.
And I don't think it's just so bad as it... Man, I would pay a lot of money to see an awesome Mario Brothers.
It wasn't even like Mario. That was the other fucking
I don't know
problem.
what that was.
Oh my God.
That was pure... I don't think as a kid I knew it was
Yoshi?
Bad. Right.
Dennis Hopper as Bowser? Get out of here.
But think about it. As a kid, man, I heard Nintendo. I heard Mario Brothers. I'm going to go see it. I'm going to love it. Whatever. But, man, I don't know what we saw. That wasn't it.
Wow.
Those are my two that I thought of off the top of my head.
Yeah, I didn't even throw up in my mouth. I threw up projectile. Banner, let's go to you. Any movie from the 90s or just growing up that you love that you watch it now and you're like, wow, I was really stupid as a child?
Yeah, mine, we've done commentaries on, to be honest with you. Air Bud and D3 just keep coming to the top of my list. One that me and Cycly actually talked about off air, too, that now that I think about it, yeah, it's really fucking bad, was Smart House.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Disney Channel original.
Oh, I remember
I
Smart
loved
House.
it as a kid, but it does not hold up. Like some of the other ones, like Johnny Tsunami, Brink, those ones hold up. Smart House doesn't hold up. Like, not even at all. Not a close.
I cringed
But-
the entire that dance scene.
Banner,
I
it's
literally rewatched it and I cringed the entire time.
well, it's over your head, Banner. It's clearly a metaphor for how we're all slaves to technology. So I'm not surprised that you don't understand the true filmmaking like that. One for me, this is like really hard for me to say, but I rewatched Homeward Bound the other day, and by rewatched I mean tried to sit through 15 minutes of it and was like, what is this a real thing? It's so awful. And Michael J. Fox is still the man in it as Chance. But I don't know how my parents sat through that movie once with me as a kid, let alone the 10 times I watched it on VHS, and then made them go watch the sequel where they inexplicably end up in San Francisco. So, Homeward Bound, if you haven't gone back and rewatched it, let me just save you an hour and a half of your life.
That kind of makes me sad. I haven't rewatched it
I haven't
in years.
watched it either. But the sequel kind of reminds me of me and my bros trying to find Del Taco drunk in the middle of the night. So pretty much the same thing.
I think you finding Del Taco is just as inspirational as both those movies. All right, our last question comes from Jabberwocky at JabberW89, and he says, which reveal yet to happen in the Star Wars universe do you think you will be most disappointed by? Rey's lineage or Snoke's reveal? Banner, we'll start with you.
Me first?
Yes.
I'm gonna go.
Ladies
I'm gonna
first.
go Rey's lineage. Okay. It has the most potential to be disappointing. Okay, Snoke, either he's Darth Plagueis or just another dark Sith bad guy. Like, there's not a whole lot of wiggle room there. It's one or the other.
I disagree,
so we
but go
can
on.
mentally prepare ourselves for that.
By the way, if I was a Sith, I would name myself Darth Sith. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's meta, and it just like you seem like someone who gets it.
Yeah, it's in right now, just like Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah, that's not true.
Rey's lineage, it could be several different things. There's so many theories out there, and all of them kind of make sense, but kind of don't. If they just come out and are like, oh, yeah, she's just somebody else, we're like, well, fuck, that's not fun. So I think that one has the biggest potential for the biggest letdown. Now, I also think, though, if Snoke is not Plagueis, that's going to be like, well, that really sucks. But it's not, I can mentally prepare myself because there aren't all these other theories out there. Like, Rey could be reincarnated of Anakin. It could be somehow she could be a Skywalker still. She's Obi-Wan's bloodline. Like, there's all these crazy theories out there where I don't know which way they're going to go.
Cycly, what do you think? Rey or Snoke? Which one has a bigger potential for letdown?
It was very hard for me when I first heard this question. And I'm going to just point out, the Jabberwocky, when I was a kid, scared the shit out of me.
God, this is a scary episode, guys. Fuck.
Yeah. But, I'm going to go ahead and say Rey's lineage as well. And I think to the point of there is more potential for disappointment. The whole story to me is based on who she is.
100%.
Who is she? That's the point of this new trilogy, right? So if she ends up being some, random person who was made by midi-chlorians in a cave or something like Anakin was, like, okay, that's not that exciting to me. But with, if she's Han Solo's, if there's somehow relation there, if she's Obi-Wan's granddaughter, that's epic. Now with Snoke, it's like, you're right. He could just be any bad guy, and I'm not gonna walk into that movie. I'm so excited to find out who Snoke is. I'm gonna walk out and be like, oh, he's a bad guy, cool. If he's nobody. Now, if he's Plagueis, fuck yeah, that's awesome. But if not, then I'm not gonna think too much about it.
So I'm going to go with Snoke on this one, and here's my reasoning why. So Brian Johnson said in an interview that we recently that we do not find out who Snoke is in episode 8. So my reasoning here is twofold. Number one, if there's a reveal that you're holding off through all 3 movies and it ends up being a letdown, that is fucking crushing. Because now you go back and the rewatchability factor on all 3 movies is ruined. Secondly, think about how strong villains have been in this universe. You could make an argument easily that Darth Vader is the best movie villain of all time, and that the twist where, spoiler alert if you haven't seen Star Wars, which also, why? What? I have a lot of other questions. Luke is, when the reveal that Luke is Darth Vader's son, that was one of the greatest plot twists of all time. You can never follow that up, so if Snoke ends up saying, like, yeah, I'm a disgruntled former employee of the Empire, that's going to be really fucking weak. And I'm with you. He almost needs to be Plagueis at this point. And even if that happens, though, I feel like it's almost a little underwhelming because you're like, yeah, well, we figured. So that's the one I'm most worried about in the Star Wars universe. All right, guys. This has been the Bro Force Squad podcast. Thank you so much for checking us out. For Ronnie Cycler, legal counsel, and the mad scientist Brian Banner, I'm your host, Jeff Hornacek. Be sure to check us out. Follow us on Twitter at Bro Force Squad. Give us a like on Facebook or poke us. Can you still do that? Bro Force Squad podcast.
I think they actually just brought it back.
No, you can poke. Oh, I've been poking.
Yeah. Send the pokes our way, folks. We are ticklish. Subscribe to us on iTunes. Bro Force Squad, 3 words. Leave us a review, 5 stars if you could, but like, if you want to be a dick, go ahead. We'll probably laugh at it. Also, subscribe to us on YouTube.
Not 1 star, like at least 2, like 1.5.
Yeah, come on, help us out here.
Or a half a star. Like, if you're going to say we're bad, go all the way.
Yeah, own it. Also, subscribe to us on YouTube, Bro Force Squad, 3 words. And if you have the internet handy, check us out at broforcesquad.com. Before we go ahead and tweet at us the movie quote that we started the show with. Let us know what movie it's from, if you can. We're going to play a fun little game, and whoever guesses it first, we will give you a shout-out on our next episode. Thank you, guys, and we'll catch you next time.